Hello, my name's Kai. I've been in lockdown for just as long as most of you guys have been in lockdown right now, and my hair's getting really long and bushy. So I'm going to cut my own hair and I'm going to show you how I go about doing that. So here's some tools that I'm going to use today. First of all, you're going to need some sort of comb here. Then I'm going to use my clippers. Here's my trusty Fabulous Pro clippers, and these are cordless, but you can pick up some clippers fairly cheaply. Most important thing that you're going to need these clipper guards, and I've got ranging from a 4 all the way down to a 1. You can see here on a 4, but it's going to leave the hair that much longer than a number 1, which is going to be quite a bit shorter. Optional, I've got some sectioning clips. I'm going to use them, but I can show you what to do if you haven't got those. And I'm going to cut the top of my hair with some hairdressing scissors.
First thing you're going to need to do is wet your hair down, and here I've got a little water spray, but you could dip your head under the tap or just simply wash your hair and then you're ready to go. So I'm going to wet my hair down. It's going to give you so much more control if you wet your hair down. But first of all, what I'm going to do is just put my parting in. I normally have my parting around about here, so I'm going to put that in. And then I'm going to use one of these sectioning clips. This is optional, you don't have to use a sectioning clip, but I just get a bit fussy about what I'm doing. I like to keep things nice and clean. So it just stops any hair coming from there back over to this side and keeps that parting nice and fresh in there. So I'm going to section off this side as well. And what this will do, especially when you're cutting your hair at home, it will stop you from cutting top hair too short. So now that we've got that sectioned off there, we're going to need to take our clippers. Now I'm going to start off, and it's best to start off safe rather than going in too short. Once you've gone in too short, you can't put that hair back, can you? So I'm going to start off with a number 4. But watch what I do. What I don't want to do is get the clippers going up this way and then go around to the shape of the head, because it's going to make these bits too short then. What I want to do is fade it out like this. So I'm going to put my clippers in like this, and I'm going to fade it out. You see what I did? Like this, fade it out. Like this, fade it out. And I'm going to work all the way through. I'm going to pull my ear down like this. Now I'll come round to the other side and do the same. Work it up, fade it out. So you're scooping out away from the head. So now we're going to come round to the back. Now the back's always a little bit more difficult, even for me. I've seen a lot of people get a mirror. So you're looking in one mirror and maybe looking into the back of another mirror, or holding it out like that and trying to see what you're doing visually. By feel, I mean, if you look at my head here, I've got like if you feel your own head, you'll feel like the skull goes round and you get this little bump here. So that little bump's called your occipital bone. So what you want to do is kind of like put your clippers in here and scoop up just off your occipital bone, and then scoop out from there and fade it off your occipital bone. Okay, so every day's a school day, you're learning something new today. So the biology of the skull, your occipital bone. So we're going to work round with that, and then we're going to fade it up through there and blend in with the sides. And I'm going to scoop up and fade out. What I don't want to do is go around to the shape of the head and take too much off through here. So give your hair a nice shape. So what we're doing by feel, just kind of like feeling the hair and just working it round. Now, we're all in lockdown anyway, and I'm only showing you this so that you can get away with kind of like looking okay during lockdown. So I'm just showing you what to do to keep it looking half decent during these next couple of months. But also don't forget that if these barbershops and hairdressers are opening and doing your hair, they are doing that illegally. And you don't want to get caught in doing that, do you? Right, so I've done all around the sides, worked off that hat line, faded it up, using that motion and fading it up, just to sort of an area around about here. Now I've got my number 3, I'm going to put the number 3 on the clippers. So that's going to go slightly shorter. Now, instead of taking these all the way up to the same place as what I did previously, I'm going to rock out the number 3 and fade it out just below where I did before. Just work down. Now I happen to know my hairline grows in like this. I've got a hairline, the hairline pattern grows in like this. So I know I'm going to get my clippers down here and just take that down the other way. That'll make more of a difference when I go down to the 2 and the 1. So now I've gone all the way around my head and I've gone round with that number 3, just blending into that 4. So guess what we're going to do now? That's right, we're going to get the number 2, we're going to put that onto the clippers. So now things start to get interesting. So we don't want to go like too high up with this number 2 because you'll really start to notice if you do that, and you might put like a couple of little chunks or something in there. So what we want to do, we want to blend this 2 in just below where we had that 3. And now I'm going to finish off around the edges with the number 1. Now with the number 1 you do need to be careful, and I'm going to turn it to a 1.5. So if you can see that, I'm just going to move this blade here so it pushes the blade forward and it just gives me that extra little bit of length off there. So with a 1.5, I'm just going to look into the mirror here. And I'm just going to blend that up, just really carefully and not going too high. So it's just giving me that nice, neater little fade. So as I'm going around the sides here, what you'll notice is my clippers are angled. So I'm only really using this little bit of the clipper here and just going round the ear. If I use it too flat against my head, I'm going to shave a big line, thick line like that into my head. You could just use the clippers like this and just scoop it out if you don't feel too confident with that. So I'm really just going around the perimeter of my hair now. So around the sides, around the back here, and just at the bottom. So going into this hairline and just blending my hair into the back there. And that's blending through really quite nicely now. Got a nice little fade going on there, which I'm very pleased with. Okay, so I've gone from a 4 to a 3 to a 2 to a 1. And as you can see, I've got quite a good result from that. I don't claim to think it's perfect, but doing your hair yourself, I don't think it's ever going to be perfect. In the hands of a professional doing your hair, they can get around the back and blend everything absolutely perfect. It's going to look spot on, but for the sake of lockdown and looking half decent going out rather than this big fuzzy mess, then I think it looks alright. So now I'm going to come to the top. So the top is where it gets a little bit tricky. What you could do is just kind of comb the hair up like this and hold it kind of like in your fingers like that, and get your clippers with no guard on it, just to a kind of length where you think it feels okay, and take that across the top. So just for example, I'm just going to feel this across the top, and you can just take that across there. So what you want to do is like hold your hands up kind of square really, to a length that you think feels okay, and that's going to sort of take it down a bit. Remember, less is more. So what I'm going to do first of all, so I'm going to put a little kind of parting in my head. I'm going to leave a little channel about 1.5 centimeters wide right down the center of my head. That's going to be my guideline. And when I pick the hair up like this, what I want to do is I want to leave the hair a bit longer at the front, going to a little bit shorter just near the crown here. So I want to be creating kind of that sort of angle where it goes like from shorter to longer. But I'm going to just pull this up. Look how I'm holding my hair up away from my head and going slightly longer towards the front. There, like that. So that's going to be my guideline. So with my guideline, now this is easier coming across this way. So if I take my hair up like this, my guideline, I should see a little bit of slightly shorter hair in the middle. So this is going to be a lot easier cutting it across. Like this. If you look closely, there's a little bit of a shorter bit of hair just in there. So I am just going to cut across that section like this, just point cutting it into it ever so slightly, just to give me a little bit of texture and a bit more of a blend. So if I cut hard lines in like this and I haven't cut it quite right, I'm going to see those hard lines when the hair lays down. So I'm just working my sections forward about 1 centimetre at a time. So what I mean by that is, like, I picked up that bit of hair there, so I'm now going to pick up the hair about 1 centimetre in front of that, and I'm going to work my hair forward until I get to the very front. Now if you want to leave the front sort of quite longish, what I suggest you do is drag it back a little bit. Drag it back a little bit. What you will do is, we call that over direction. If you over direct the hair back this way, you will actually leave it longer towards the front. Now, so all that leaves us left to do is this area and this area. So here and here. So I've done down the middle there. I've cut up the sides and the back. And now simply just got there and a little bit off the crown around the back here to do. So all I'm going to do now is put my hair in a centre parting, because I've cut down there already. I'm going to put my hair in a centre parting, and on each side of that centre parting I'm going to pick my hair up until I've got a little corner bit like that, and that's all I need to take off. Just take that off, and again working forward about 1 centimetre at a time. So what I'm not doing, I'm not cutting my hair down at an angle like that. If I do that, I'm going to lose this nice sort of shape, that corner edge through here that I want to keep. So I'm going to keep my hands up like this. So think square, square. It's looking loads better. And then back over to this side, I'm going to do exactly the same. Hold it up to about there. Now what I want to do is just take a little piece, a little bit off this fringe. I'm just going to pull that slightly forward and down. And I'm just going to take just a little bit off there, tiny little bit, because I do want to keep a little bit of length. So that's looking a lot better. And then all I'm going to do is just work my way around, a little bit off here, a little bit by feel. I can see in the mirror there. Again, you can use your clippers over the top of here. Just skim it across the top of your fingers. As long as you're holding your hair up away from your head, and you know how much you lift it up is going to determine how long you leave that across your crown area there. And I do like a little bit of product in my hair, so I'm going to use this product by a company called Sebastian, and it's a clay type wax. So this is called the Sculptor. So I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger, put my hands together, and heat the product up, melt it in my fingers, in my hands, and then just work it all the way through my hair like that. Really work your product into your hair, and then just style it into shape. Now I think you'll agree, that looks so much better than when I started. It was bushy, it was thick, it was a big bouffant at the front, and now I'm ready to rock lockdown. But if you're going to work, then it's going to look a lot better, isn't it? Until your hairdresser or barber is able to open in a few weeks' time and do it properly. Good luck, and remember, less is more to start with. Take care, guys.